Hello and welcome to this episode of Seeds, as we look upon the different seeds of our lives. And the different seeds of our lives representing the different stages of our lives. And I want to share a story of a young boy that I knew called Ricky. Ricky was a young boy coming from what people will name as quote unquote a dysfunctional family. And I don't know possibly why they call it, but hopefully as we continue on, we'll get to break it down a little bit. And so Ricky was born, Ricky's dad was really good. Like initially from the looks, he was good. He was good looking, yeah? And Ricky's mom also was pretty. You would call her possibly Miss Kenya, now that we come from this wonderful country of Kenya. And so Ricky continued, was introduced into the world in 1991, and as life continued on, it reached a point when he realized himself. And one particular time, in one of the days, Ricky was there watching TV, watching cartoon, enjoying his time, just enjoying his moments, until it reached a point where he started hearing commotion in the bedroom. And he got a little bit curious on what's really happening around the bedroom. What is all this commotion? And the first few minutes he was like, I don't really mind about it. But I mean, I'm concerned, but it doesn't sound like a big deal. Maybe my mom and dad are mopping the house or something like that. And so he continued watching TV until the banging became louder and louder, and the moving of the bed and so many other things became louder and louder, and so he got concerned. And so under Ricky's curiosity, he went to the bedroom only to find one person with their hand, Ricky's dad, their hand was up, ready to put another stroke of the whip upon Ricky's mom. And so it was a bad sight, and he was so much concerned on really what's really happening. And they were fighting, quarreling, just giving each other, calling each other all the nasty names that you can possibly think about. And so Ricky decided to try and be like the mediator between the two. And because Ricky was so much connected with the mom, went and decided to just ask the mom, please stop beating, just ask dad, on stop beating mom. Stop beating mom. And he stood in between, but instead Ricky was taken up by his shirt that he was wearing and thrown to the wall. And he didn't understand why. He didn't understand why. He tried as much as he can, but all what could happen was he just continued being beaten. He received the strokes now that were to be landing on Ricky's mom, on him. And so it continued on like that. And Ricky started crying. And he cried. He tried calling out. The neighbors were not coming. They were used to this couple fighting every now and then. He tried shouting. No one was coming. And it reached a point he could not even realize her mom's face because of all the bruises and all that had transpired then. And the mom was not the only one with the bruises. Ricky's body had also landed a few strokes of the whips. And so it was really, really tough. And possibly you might be or have gone through such kind of scenario, or you are relating with such kind of scenario, where your mom and dad keep on fighting every now and then, where possibly you have gone through it and you are like, yes, this is actually what I was going through every day of my life. And so that was Ricky's life every day. When dad came around, it was fighting every now and then. And so he got used to it. But one thing was planted speaking about seeds, one thing was planted in Ricky's heart, and that was anger. Ricky developed a great anger against the dad. He could not speak to him. He could not look at him. He loathed him. That is the only word I can possibly use. He loathed him with all his heart. He never wanted to speak to him just because of what happened. And you might be there and you have gone through the same position. And even possibly, even right now, you not want to see your mom or your dad just because of what they did. And you are possibly relating with Ricky's story. You know one thing, I was talking to Ricky one time and he told me this, that later on he realized that there was something between their mom and dad that they never really spoke to him about. There was something between the mom and dad that they never revealed to him, and they were so much ashamed. And so the only way to relieve their stress, the only way to relieve what they felt and what they knew and what they had known at that particular time was through the fights. The only way to express themselves was through the blows. But even when I say through the blows, it was more of Ricky's dad beating Ricky's mom. And so the seed of anger was born in Ricky's life. And you might be there, very angry, and do not really understand what really transpired between your mom and your dad. Or possibly just your mom, who possibly has gone through a very tough life and didn't know how to express herself. Or your dad, who didn't know how to express himself. And the only thing that he could do was just take the whip. The only way that he could do, possibly even just because of what was done upon his life by his dad or by his grandfather or by his grandmom, he is now passing the same thing to you. I pray that this will be of help, that you'll be able to look at it from not a dysfunctional and a failure moment, but a lesson. Because this is what Ricky told me, that I learned. I learned how not to treat a lady. I learned how not to keep secrets and so keep on hurting my children. I learned how not to just keep on things to myself and keep on being quiet and stressed up and only express myself in an uncouth way. And so these were things that Ricky learned. And I pray that you'll be able also to learn a few things. I would like to introduce you to one person who once said that fathers, do not provoke your children to anger. And children, obey your parents in the Lord. Because as you continue in this, as you walk in obedience, and possibly as you parents, if you are a father, if you are a mom watching this video, that you will not provoke your children to anger as much as possibly that job has gone, as bad as possibly has gone. As bad as possibly that relationship has gone, you never expected. As bad as possibly that whatever experience you have gone, you don't have to pass the same experience that you had to your siblings or to your people. And so I want to introduce to you to someone who can help you, someone to whom you can call a father if this is a wound you are going through, to someone whom you can be able to just go to and say that, you know what, I have gone through this particular period of my life and I didn't know what to do. And this person is God. Because when Ricky realized that he can pray and call upon God, who is able to listen to him and not throw in and not expect a whip on his back, but just be filled with peace, then he knew that that was the secret. And so thank you for just taking this particular time to get into this moment of indulging with me on Ricky's life. And I pray that the seed of anger will not continue growing in your heart. And the best way to release it right now, as I've introduced you to someone called God, who is able to talk to you and who is able to listen to you, and you just express yourself, all your anger, everything else, tell him and he will listen, because that is how Ricky was able to uproot that seed and say that, you know what, I will not let the seed of anger grow in my life. I pray that that will not be part of your plantation. Thank you. And if this has been a blessing to you, feel free to share with your family and friends, and may it become of help to you and many others.